So, Daemon Targaryen. Truthfully, guys, I don't know how I feel about him. This has honestly never happened to me before. I finished the first season of House of the Dragon yesterday and was left speechless. Since I started watching Hot D, I've wanted to do an episode on Daemon, but now that the time has come, well, I have no idea if he's a good guy or the villain. He is honestly one of the most unique characters I've watched on television in a long time, and it's clear why he is George R.R. Martin's favorite character that he's written. Let's dive into what makes his character so unique. Daemon Targaryen is one of the most fascinating and polarizing fictional characters to emerge in pop culture this year. Wily, slimy, and snappy, the Targaryen rogue prince, played by British actor Matt Smith, terrorized and charmed in equal parts in the House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones prequel, revolving around the glory days of Daenerys Targaryen's dragon-riding ancestors. But who wants to watch peacetime in Westeros? Hot D is chronicling the Targaryens' eventual downfall, but before all of that went down, we see just how mighty this dynasty used to be, and no one personifies the Targaryens better than Daemon. As I mentioned before, Game of Thrones author George R.R. Martin himself has publicly named Daemon as his most favorite character among his creations. Considering Westeros is full of memorable characters, this is no small acknowledgement. It's no secret that the volatile, incestuous, and mad as seven hells Targaryens are Martin's favorite golden children. But just what makes Daemon the ultimate favorite? First, backstory. Daemon Targaryen is the younger brother of King Viserys I. He was also his presumed heir before Viserys started having children. Compared to his meek brother, Daemon is a brilliant combatant with a tactical mind and enigmatic leadership qualities. He's also rash, impulsive, and prone to provocation. Poke him and he will breathe fire down your neck. Dragon's blood runs in his veins and he inhibits the very best and worst of its traits. A dragon personified, he's cold-blooded when it concerns outsiders. He won't hesitate to murder anyone standing in his family's way. Daemon's dragon is called Caraxes, a red, taunting beast with abnormally long neck and sort of Daemon's avatar in personality. In Matt Smith's own words, Caraxes is grumpy, volatile, cynical, just like him. Let me also pause for a second to talk about the dragons in House of the Dragon. What's so dope about the show is that it shows the true power of what dragons can do, and those who control dragons have absolute power over everyone in the country. Imagine walking around with a nuke on your back, and at any moment you can blow it up with no consequences. That is the power that dragons have and is truly personified in the show. Any scene that shows a dragon soaring through the air honestly made my heart race, and seeing the absolute mass of this creature and its power was shown incredibly well by the show's creators. Because of Daemon's volatile tendency, King Viserys won't have him by his side, always sending him to fight battles far from King's Landing or posting him somewhere remote. Despite their mutual love for each other, there's always an undercurrent of insecurity on Viserys' part that Daemon might usurp the throne. Daemon does little to assuage Viserys' concern. He snoops around, he never bothers correcting disparaging rumors created by Otto, the Hand of the King, all because he's hurt that his brother never trusts him. He disobeys Viserys' commands and takes actions the king is too cautious to take. But the straw that breaks the camel's back is seducing Rhaenyra, Viserys' daughter, aka his own niece, aka the current heiress to the throne, one day after reiterating his loyalty to Viserys. Now, keeping it in the family is literally Targaryen's motto, but Viserys interprets his actions as him angling for the throne. I also want to make a quick side note to say that regardless of the fact that we've seen 8 seasons of Game of Thrones and 1 season of House of the Dragon, this whole incest story still feels so weird. In the world of Game of Thrones, House Targaryen has a history of marrying within the family to keep the bloodline pure. The practice is based on the Targaryen belief that they have a special connection with the dragons, which is strengthened by keeping the bloodline pure. Although the claim that only pure bloodline Targaryens are able to control dragons is just not true, as we see Rhaenyra's children, who were born from the strong family, being able to command dragons, as well as in Game of Thrones, Jon Snow being able to have relationships with dragons as well. Even with all that, I couldn't get out of my mind that Daemon is Rhaenyra's uncle. Don't forget that the baby they tried having together was deformed when she gave birth to it. One theory could be that the inter-family gene pool caused these deformities, but many speculate that there are other symbolic answers to their child. But back to Daemon. It's easy to regard Daemon's behaviors as traitorous. It's never clear what his true motives are, but there's a simple explanation to his actions. He's a staunch traditionalist. If everything else about him is vague, one thing is clear. Daemon is loyal to his blood and his blood only. He's so committed to the Targaryen traditions to the point that he keeps it in the family romantically. Twice. One of the things I noticed about the change Daemon Targaryen went through in the series is his preoccupation with internal politics. The guy at the beginning of the series takes on some kind of role of a rebel who doesn't really care about anything, doesn't play into anyone's interests, and does what he wants. This is further portrayed when he goes into the brothel with Rhaenyra, knowing full well people will see them and has no disregard for what people might say about him. At first, he's almost portrayed as an enemy of the series, a threat to the peace within the kingdom. But as the show progresses, I wasn't sure if I was rooting for him or against him. Something I also thought was funny about his character was how, as he got older, his look changed. In the beginning, he had long hair, and then he grew up, and then he had short hair, and then he grows up again, and he has a haircut with long hair again. How old even is he in the last episode, and how did he manage to grow hair like that? But the show did a great job showing his development into adulthood as we watched him grow up and figure out for himself the importance of the Targaryen line and how he begins to feel superior to others. He also begins to see the threat Alicent and her father play to the Targaryen reign on the kingdom. All Daemon does is in service of upholding the Targaryen name. He wants to assist Viserys because he knows the king is surrounded by vipers with their own agenda. He disobeys Viserys because he realizes his indecision will compromise the realm's safety. He woos Rhaenyra because he wants to continue their pure Valyrian bloodline. Regrettably, his hot-headedness always gets in the way of expressing this clearly. Daemon, or should we say Daemon Blackfyre, or the king who bore the sword, or the Black Dragon, the Pretender King, or the Blackfyre Pretender, or Daemon First Blackfyre. Wow, that was so long. Dude, why do you have so many names? Daemon does soften a bit as the show progresses. But we see at the end of season 1, the High Towers have seized the throne from Rhaenyra, and an all-out civil war is about to break out. The betrayal reawakens the dormant dragon in him, symbolized by Daemon waking his ancestor's dragon, Vermithor, ready to roar their vengeance. You know, I also got to thinking about the question, if Daemon Targaryen was a real person, who would he be? After doing some thinking, and please do not judge me for this super geeky history answer, is Julius Caesar. Yes, I said it, Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar, the Roman general and statesman who played a critical role in the events that led to the demise of the Roman Republic and the rise of the Roman Empire. Both Julius Caesar and Daemon Targaryen were skilled warriors and strategists. Caesar was known for his military genius and his ability to lead his armies to victory, while Daemon was known for his proficiency with the sword and his ability to lead his followers in battle. Both Julius Caesar and Daemon Targaryen were ambitious individuals who desired to claim the throne for themselves. Caesar's ambition led to the civil war that ultimately resulted in his dictatorship of the Roman Republic, and Daemon's ambition led to the Blackfyre Rebellion, a series of conflicts fought between him and his brothers against King Viserys I Targaryen. Both Julius Caesar and Daemon Targaryen were driven by a desire for power, and their ambition caused significant changes in their respective worlds. Caesar's actions led to the demise of the Roman Republic and the rise of the Roman Empire, while Daemon's actions led to a series of conflicts that had a significant impact on the Seven Kingdoms. I'd also like to briefly touch on the actor who played Daemon, Matt Smith. Truthfully, I really only know Matt Smith as playing the neurotic 11th Doctor in BBC's iconic sci-fi series Doctor Who. The playful Doctor is a far cry from bloodthirsty Daemon. Matt's cheerful persona is probably more in line with the Doctor's, as he's kind but a bit odd. During interviews, he swears profusely, does unpredictable stuff, and tells the most fascinating anecdotes. And yet, those are the qualities that endear him to many. In a way, that's very Daemon-like, having such a bewildering, outsized persona that people can't help but be drawn to you. That's it for this video, but before we end, I'd like to pose the same question I asked myself to all of you. If Daemon Targaryen was a real person, who would he be? Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget, if you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to see more similar content.